Good afternoon and welcome to Energene for the Interbolsa Weekly Wrap for February the 19th. It's been a bit of a hiatus caused by the holidays and a lot of travelling, but hopefully we'll be back with you now on a weekly basis. In terms of the markets, the coal cap's been, as it has been for the whole year, very flat. Really not too much happening. Volumes have been around average $50 to $60 million, but not too much happening. The peso likewise, definitely better bid, but hasn't really done anything all year, so it's still where it was. It's mildly higher this year, but this week very quiet. The only real movement in the markets has been in the bond market. We've seen weakness in the bond market across the board. No particular thing causing the problem, but a confluence of factors. Some political uncertainty caused by the Constitutional Court still sitting around and twiddling their thumbs. We've also seen still continued concerns about financing for 2010. Again, that's been yesterday. We had the Ecopetrol conference call, and they mentioned they may not sell their $5 billion stake, or the government may not, until next year now. And again, that has the market again concerned about funding, whether the authorities might in fact have to sell more than $13 billion of tests locally this year. Or again, it's speculation, but there definitely seems to be some profit taking in the test market. Moving into other news in the macro side, we had December import data. December imports were down 10 basis points. So when you put that next to the exports, which are up over 7%, we had another trade surplus for December, which gave us a yearly surplus of just over $1.6 billion. As has been stated here before, most analysts going into 2009 said we'd be well in the red. We're actually in the black. There seems to be slowly some movement away from Venezuela towards other markets. We've seen the emergence of China as a big export market recently. Hopefully the country can continue that pattern and avoid any real problems with the terms of trade in 2010. Vehicle sales again were up in January. That's 2 months running. One up as far as December when they're up in 27%. But to clarify, vehicle sales are very important for retail sales. They're a leading indicator for retail sales. They may not be the biggest component in retail sales, but they're definitely the biggest of the volatile ones, so it's very important to look out. We have December retail sales and industrial production for that matter out next week, so keep a tight eye on those retail sales numbers for next week. The consensus is for 3% up. The suspicion is we may be able to get a better number than that, so let's wait and see. I want to just point your attention to the weekly if you get a chance to look at it fully. I looked at the unemployment number for December, which is 12.3%, and unemployment here remains a concern, obviously. However, it's worth noting that employment numbers in December are 1.5 million higher than 1 year before. So even though unemployment is still a concern, the actual labour pool here continues to grow. It's important for the pension funds. They're already growing at 19% plus per annum. So really this is important because it does remain a driver for the equity market and the bond market as the pension funds try to put new money in as the official workforce grows. Looking at stock news this week, Ecopetrol reported numbers. For some they were good, for some they were a disaster. Conference call really had no important new information except for the aforementioned fact that they may not sell that, or the government may not sell that 9.9% stake this year. Argos announced a couple of joint ventures, one in Suriname, one in Curacao, both related to the clinker business and both related to helping supply the Caribbean business, which is obviously going to expand. Obviously Panama, where they bought out Holcim, is going to be a good market for them. Haiti, by coincidence, they bought out Holcim as well. Haiti needs over 2 million tons of concrete to rebuild itself, or cement rather, and it will obviously prove useful for them to have the Haiti government as a one-third partner in their company. ETB has dropped like a stone in the last couple of sessions. TEF have been talking pretty enthusiastically about the fact that they're looking for a partner, but in the last couple of sessions TEF have said, well, they're looking at it, but they're not actually decided whether they're going to bid for the company yet. Moneros announced an extraordinary dividend of 52 pesos, which will be voted on next week. Isagen got approval for an $800 million loan, a syndicated loan locally from the government, so that's going to help with the Sogamoso hydroelectric project. Rubiales obtained a $200 million credit line, which they'll obviously use to continue expanding business. Aside from that, that's really about the news from here. The other big news, obviously, which has also been bothering the bond market, is it continues extremely hot here. The local weather people are now saying El Nino could continue into April. Obviously, that does have concerns for CPI, which at the moment is only at 2.1%, but there are concerns it will move up as agricultural products get more expensive. But it must be stated that the central bank have already said that, you know what, we will see a small spike in inflation where we expect it to calm down again once the weather's returned. The good news for Colombia obviously is that with Venezuela not interested in Colombian food anymore, there is a surplus in a lot of products, which is helping to take away some of the pressure on inflation. So that's it from Medellin, and I'll be off to enjoy the El Nino sun with my SPF 100 sun cream.